Indigenous people of Benue Valley, Niger area threatened to pull out of Arewa. The attack on the life of Benue City Governor Dr. Samuel Otom by suspected Fulani herdsmen has taken a worrisome dimension as the indigenous people of the Niger area and Benue Valley have threatened to pull out of the union. So I'm guessing this is like the Middle Belt area. So if they're threatening to pull out, where will they go? I mean, they can be by themselves, absolutely, but it's. I mean, I guess the disintegration of Nigeria is coming pretty early. So again, let's just imagine if every region just decides that what, even every like little or minority region decides that what, we want to separate, and the agitation increases. Maybe Nigeria's disintegration might be something that you know is what do you call it, a unanimous decision, and everyone just decides that what, that's the best option. The first reaction here says, "Don't come to Biafra Republic, go elsewhere." They never said they're coming to Biafra Republic. I guess it's just the name. The name says the indigenous people. So again, what makes you think they want to come to Biafra? Like, what? Another comment here says, oh, in reply to that comment, saying they don't need Biafra, the Middle Belt can survive on their own. Someone else says, oh, they are in trouble. What does that mean? What does that mean? But yeah, I think that every region might get to that point of just frustration. The Yorubas have gotten there, but the Igbos were there since the country was birthed, or the country got independence. So yeah, now if the middle belt is breaking down, oh wow, that's good. That's good news for those who want succession and all that. But yeah, I think that it might be realistic. I mean, it's a matter of time, and if things do get worse, Nigerians will be pushed, and that's the thing. I don't think that we have to wait until things get worse and unbearable, where it will become a whole ghastly event, and then the separation becomes very very technical, very hard, and then the resentment along the way, and then let's say after we it disintegrates, everyone's now having beef with each other and all that. It's just sad. As someone says, the gallant people of Benue region has been tactically conquered. It will take extraordinary bravery to rise and free yourselves from the shackles of Fulani chain. So sad and unfortunate. Yeah, that's hard because I even think that even before we got colonized, no one sort of knows what the Middle Belt region was. What the Middle Belt region was literally part of the southern part of the country, but then obviously due to Fulani sort of invasion, they all moved down because again, the way in which like the Yorubas are integrated with Fulanis in some part of the Middle Belt, like it's like what is the individual culture? What was the individual culture? Because again, I think the only reason why we know about Igbos and Yorubas is because, well, first of all, they are huge in number, and also because, obviously taken as slaves, a lot of cultures were actually still revived, and so the similarities are very very obvious. So I guess we can know, okay, fine, this came from this and that came from that. Another comment here says, what what Lugard has joined together, we can put asunder 100%. Don't even get me started on Lord of Frederick Lord Lugard, because I will go in. What he has joined together will definitely be put to asunder. Absolutely. But I guess it was actually, yeah. Somebody, in reply to that comment, someone says, let all reasonable men put asunder 100%. Someone says, this is a very significant step towards extricating from the Arewa hegemony. Okay, I don't even know what this word means. That Fulanis are trying to enslave them. Sadly, a Middle Belt man is championing the Ruga project for the Fulanis. It's a welcome idea to get out of this political slavery by the Fulanis. Again, the condition, I think we need to go back to history. The condition on us getting independence was that the Fulani would get the majority rule on the condition that they would have that the British would have indirect control of Nigeria through them. I think we need to go back to our independence and what that document is. If we really want to separate, I keep highlighting it, we need to go back to those documents. You cannot tell me that they're hidden. It's the British, they keep everything. So we need to go back on what basis and what grounds did we get independence and why. Because at that same time, other African countries are getting independence. And if you think about the history of Britain, you can't just expect that they just give us independence. It doesn't work like that. And also with France, if you see if you do your research and see how France and neo-colonialism is so strong on Congo and like the Francophone or Franc-Afrique countries, it's like what? So again, it's to think that the British would not sort of do the same thing for the Anglophone countries. It's a bit naive, in my opinion, I'd say. So yes, for us to separate, we need to go back and be like, what were the arguments? Because again, one thing that also highlights why we need to go back and look at those original documents of our independence is because it is very dodgy. Because again, it's an agreement that the Yorubas and Igbos had, and House has to come and get independence. They came together, and it's just very suspicious that even after they signed the documents and we got independence, why was it that immediately after Biafra still asked and persisted for independence still, and then it was so bad that it took a war 6-7 years after we got independence, and yet obviously it was a 3-year war, absolutely horrific, horrible, and yeah, like because of that, it's just sad. It's sad. So it's like it's very suspicious that if you knew what you were getting into, so then there was a possibility, because there's no way you can go into a contract and break it. So again, the Biafrans asking for the independence, they knew what they were talking about, and the fact that Nigeria was not necessarily meant to have existed for this long. Another comment here says, what have they been doing with that so-called Arewa? Question mark, question mark, question mark. What has been going on? Exactly. Silence. Crickets. No one is saying anything. Another comment here says, came out, Egypt move on to the promised land that flows with milk and honey. The people of Benue Valley has been the instrument of aggression in the hands of northern oligarchs against the Igbos since Adam. Do you think so? Someone here says, these Benue people are kind of confused because I don't know what they really want. They really need to wake up. I think that as a general thing, we don't know what was it like. Because again, why the Middle Belt area is literally sort of where Fulani existence or Fulani power holds, is because through the invasion, that was where they were able to reach. And of course, Lord Lugard came in, and of course, with colonization, everything was taken over. The whole Sokoto Caliphate was taken over by the British. And so, yeah, it just became like that. It's sad, but do you know what I think about this? I think, in my personal opinion, that this agitation or this call for separation from the Arewa by the Benue Valley Republic or whatever is a step that seems fruitful in terms of Nigeria's, or the interest in succeeding and disintegrating the country called Nigeria. Put what I think, and do not forget to like and subscribe.